Welcome guys. For the next few videos we'll be looking at cryptography. Just easily come to search, then from there you type in the keyword cryptography. Okay, I wish they can have like an intelligent search feature. What's happening? Cryptography. Yeah, then as usual free only. Then we are coming to easy. Either put it as CTF or walkthroughs, but let's just keep it as all for now. I'm more particular about the easy. If we put all, it's going to scramble them for us. See, yeah. So we should leave it as all. Let's say if we leave it as easy, we have cryptography for dummies. Okay, so let's leave it as all. We just go on like that. We're having cryptography basics here. In this room, we are going to learn the basics of cryptography and symmetric encryption. Have you ever wondered how to prevent third parties from reading your messages? How can your app or web browser build a secure channel with a remote server? And by secure, we mean that no one can read or alter the exchange data. Furthermore, we can be confident that we are connecting with the real server. Now, thanks to cryptography, these requirements are satisfied. Cryptography lays the foundation for our digital world, while networking protocols have made it possible for devices spread across the globe to communicate. Cryptography has made it possible to trust this communication. This room is the first of 3 introductory rooms about cryptography. There are no learning prerequisites except the basic abilities to use Linux command line. If you are not sure, you can join the pre-security part. So we have the cryptography basics, which is this room, the public key cryptography basics, and the hashing basics. These are premium rooms. So in this room, we are going to learn how to do these things. We are going to know the cryptography key terms, the importance of cryptography, the Caesar cipher, standard symmetric ciphers, common asymmetric ciphers, and basic mathematics commonly used in cryptography. So I'm ready to start learning about cryptography. Yes, we're going to complete that. Let's work. Importance of cryptography. Cryptography's ultimate purpose is to ensure secure communication in the presence of adversaries. The term secure includes confidentiality and integrity of the communicated data. Cryptography can be defined as a practice and study of techniques for secure communication and data protection, where we expect the presence of adversaries and third parties. In other words, these adversaries should not be able to disclose or alter the contents of the messages. Cryptography is used to protect confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. In this age, you use cryptography daily, and you are almost certainly reading this over an encrypted connection. Consider the following scenarios where you could use cryptography. 1. When you log into TryAcme, your credentials are encrypted and sent to the server so that no one can retrieve them by snooping on your connection. 2. When you connect over SSH, your SSH client and the server establish an encrypted tunnel so no one can eavesdrop on your session. 3. When you conduct online banking, your browser checks the remote server certificate to confirm that you are communicating with your bank server and not an attacker's. 4. When you download a file, how do you check if it was downloaded correctly? Cryptography provides a solution through hash functions to confirm that your file is identical to the original one. As you can see, you really have to interact directly with cryptography, but its solutions and implications are everywhere in the digital world. Consider the case where a company wants to handle credit card information and process related transactions. When handling credit cards, the company must follow and enforce the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard (PCI DSS). In this case, the PCI-DSS ensures a minimum level of security to store, process, and transmit data related to card credits. If you check the PCI-DSS for large organizations, you will learn that the data should be encrypted both while being stored, that is at rest, and while being transmitted, that is in motion. In the same way that handling payment card details requires complying with PCI-DSS, handling medical records requires complying with their respective standards. That's where we have the HIPAA. Unlike credit cards, the standard for handling medical records vary from one country to another. Example laws and regulations that should be considered when handling medical records include the HIPAA, that's the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, the ITEC, the Health Information Technology for Economic and Clinical Health in the USA, the GDPR, that's the General Data Protection Regulation in the EU, the DPA, that's the Data Protection Act in the UK. Although the list is not exhaustive, it gives an idea about the legal requirements that healthcare providers should consider depending on their country. These laws and regulations shows that cryptography is a necessity that should be present, yet usually hidden from direct user access. Now, what is the standard required for handling credit card information? That's the PCI DSS. We move on to the plain text to ciphertext. Let's start with an illustration before introducing the key terms. We begin with the plain text that we want to encrypt. The plain text is the readable data. It can be anything from a simple hello, a card photo, credit card information, or medical health records. From a cryptography perspective, these are all plain text messages waiting to be encrypted. The plain text is passed through the encryption function along with a proper key. The encryption function returns a ciphertext. The encryption function is part of the cipher, and a cipher is an algorithm to convert a plain text into a ciphertext and vice versa. From this diagram now, we can see that we have a sender sending a plain text through the encrypt, and we have the key. Once the key is passed into the encrypt function, we have our ciphertext. Now, to recover the plain text, we must pass the ciphertext along with the proper key via the decryption function, which would now give us the original plain text. This is shown in the illustration below. So we have the ciphertext passing to the decrypt function, which is passed along with the key to generate the plain text to the recipient. We have just introduced several new terms, and we need to learn them to understand any text about cryptography. The terms are listed below. 1. Plain text. Plain text is the original readable message or data before it is encrypted. It can be a document, an image, a multimedia file, or any other binary data, as long as the computer understands. 2. Ciphertext. Ciphertext is the scrambled, unreadable version of the message after encryption. Ideally, we cannot get any information about the original plain text except its appropriate size. 3. Cipher. Cipher is an algorithm or method to convert plain text into ciphertext and back again. A cipher is usually developed by a mathematician. 4. Key. A key is a string of bits that the cipher uses to encrypt or decrypt data. In general, this used cipher is public knowledge. However, the key must remain secret unless it is a public key in asymmetric encryption. We will visit asymmetric encryption in a later task. 5. Encryption. Encryption is the process of converting plain text into ciphertext using a cipher and a key. Unlike the key, the choice of the cipher is disclosed. Decryption, that's 6. Decryption is the reverse process of encryption, converting ciphertext back into plain text using a cipher and a key. Although the cipher would be public knowledge, recovering the plain text without knowledge of the key should be impossible. That is, it should not be feasible. What do you call the encrypted plain text? That should be the cipher text. Great. What do you call the process that returns the plain text? That's decryption. I really hope you are following and you understand what we are doing. Historical ciphers. Cryptography's history is long and it dates back to ancient Egypt in the 1900 BCE. However, one of the simplest historical ciphers is the Caesar cipher from the 1st century BCE. The idea is simple. You shift each letter by a certain number to encrypt the message. Consider the following example. Our plain text is triangle. The key is 3 and we assume that it is a right shift of 3 and the cipher we'll be using is the Caesar cipher. We can easily figure out that T becomes W, right? R becomes U, Y becomes B, and so on. So as you notice, let's see. Once we reach Z, we start all over as shown in the figure below. Consequently, we get the cipher text of W, U, B, K, D, F, and P, H. So in essence, what we are trying to do is, if we are making a right shift of 3 and we are trying to shift A here now, we move it to the right, that's 1, 2, 3. So we are getting D. Once you move B to the right, let's start from a 1, 2, 3, that means we are getting E. So this has been shifted 3 times to the right. Now to decrypt, we need the following information, which is the cipher text. We need the key and the cipher itself. So the key is 3 and this is Caesar cipher. So if we move to the right, that means you need to move to the left this time around. So we move to the left, 1, 2, 3, and we have our plain text. For encryption, we shift to the right by 3. For decryption, we shift to the left by 3 and recover the original plain text as illustrated in the image above. However, if someone gives you a cipher text and it tells you that it was encrypted using Caesar cipher, recovering the original text will be a trivial task as there are only 25 possible keys. The English alphabet is 26 letters, and shifting by 26 will keep the letter unchanged. Hence, 25 valid keys for encryption with Caesar cipher. I hope you understand what we are trying to do there. If we shift by 1, fine, you can only shift maximum up to 25. If you shift by 26, that means you are moving back to the original letter, right? So the figure below shows how decryption will succeed by attempting all the possible keys. In this case, we recover the original message with key equals to 5. Consequently, by today's standard, where the cipher is publicly known, Caesar cipher is considered insecure. Well, if you want to share message between your friend and you don't want another person, maybe not something very serious like a game, you can still use this. Pretty straightforward and simple. So if we key in 1 for this cipher text, we have X because we are decrypting, we are going to be moving to the left. Yeah. If we key in 2, key in 3, and so on and so forth. So when we keyed in 5, we have, that means we are moving 5 to the left. This is Alpha Bravo contacting Tango Hotel Mike. Good. You would come across many more historical ciphers in movies and cryptography books. The examples include the Vigenère cipher from the 16th century, the Enigma machine from World War II, and the one-time pad from the Cold War. Now, knowing that XRPCTCRGNEI was encrypted using Caesar cipher, what is the original plain text? Well, we don't know the key. Let's see if we'll be given the key. You can use an online tool such as the ones available at Decode. I regularly use Decode anyway, so we're going to copy this URL We are going to come here. The good thing now is a lot of these things we have tools for them. We have the web-based ones, and we also have the command line tools that you can use to decrypt ciphertext, as long as you know the cipher that was used. There are some that kinds of help you determine what cipher was used depending on the outcome. So we are going to decrypt. We are going to have our results on the left side. Okay, where is our results? We're not having results. That's really strange. Okay, it's the network. So there are actually tools that recognize the ciphertext and tells you what algorithm or method was used in encrypting the plain text. Don't know why this is taking so long. Did I copy it right? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's move to the next one. When it's done, you can come and paste. Guru meditation. Okay, that can failed. So let's refresh. I guess the network is not so good. Okay, so let's decrypt. It doesn't usually take this long. Now we move to the types of encryption. The two main categories of encryption are symmetric and asymmetric. What is symmetric encryption? Symmetric encryption, also known as symmetric cryptography, uses the same key to encrypt and decrypt the data, as shown in the figure below. Keeping the key secret is a must. It is also called private key cryptography. Furthermore, communicating the key to the intended parties can be challenging, as it requires a secure communication channel. Maintaining the secrecy of the key can be a significant challenge, especially if there are many recipients. The problem becomes more severe in the presence of a powerful adversary. Consider the threat of industrial espionage, for instance. Now we have Alice that has a plaintext encrypted, and there is a shared secret key into the ciphertext. Bob receives the ciphertext with knowledge of the secret key and uses it to decrypt the ciphertext and receive the plaintext. Consider the simple case where you created a password protected document to share it with your colleague. You can easily email the encrypted document to your colleague, but most likely you cannot email them the password. The reason is that anyone with access to their mailbox will access both the password protected document and its password. Therefore, you need to think of a different way, that is channel, to share the password. Unless you think of a secure accessible channel, one solution would be to meet in person and communicate the password to them. Examples of symmetric encryption are DES, that is the data encryption standard, the triple DES, and the AES, which is the advanced encryption standard. DES was adopted as a standard in 1977 and uses a 56-bit key. With the advancement in computing power, in 1999, a DES key was successfully broken in less than 24 hours, motivating the shift to triple DES. Triple DES is DES applied 3 times. Consequently, the key size is 168 bits, though the effective security is 112 bits. Triple DES was more of an ad hoc solution when DES was no longer considered secured. Triple DES was deprecated in 2019 and should be replaced by AES. However, it may still be found in some legacy systems. In case you are wondering what legacy systems are, you can just come here and type legacy systems. Okay. So a legacy system is any outdated computing system, hardware or software that is still in use. That's all you need to know. Let's see if our result is out. What's this? Not giving us what we want. Let's go to first. Let's go on. AES was adopted as a standard in 2001. Its key size can be 128, 192 or 256 bits. There are many more symmetric encryption ciphers used in various applications. However, they have not been adopted as standards. Asymmetric encryption. Unlike symmetric encryption, which uses the same key for encryption and decryption, asymmetric encryption uses a pair of keys, one to encrypt and the other to decrypt, as shown in the illustration below. So Alice is trying to send message to Bob. She encrypts her plain text using Bob's public key. The ciphertext gets to Bob and Bob will have to use his own private key to decrypt the message. Now, to protect confidentiality, asymmetric encryption or asymmetric cryptography will encrypt the data using the public key. Hence, it is also called public key cryptography. Examples are RSA, Diffie-Hellman, and the elliptic curve cryptography. The two keys involved in the process are referred to as a public key and a private key. Data encrypted with the public key can be decrypted with a private key. Your private key needs to be kept private, hence the name. Asymmetric encryption tends to be slower, and many asymmetric encryption ciphers use larger keys than symmetric encryption. For example, RSA uses 2048 bits, 3072 bits, and 4096 bit keys. The 2048 bits is the recommended minimum key size. The Diffie-Hellman also has a recommended minimum key size of 2048 bits, but uses 3072 bits and 4096 bit keys for enhanced security. On the other hand, ECC can achieve equivalent security with shorter keys. For example, with a 256-bit key, ECC provides a level of security comparable to a 3072-bit RSA key. Asymmetric encryption is based on a particular group of mathematical problems that are easy to compute in one direction but extremely difficult to reverse. In this context, extremely difficult means practically infeasible. For example, we can rely on a mathematical problem that would take a very long time, for example millions of years, to solve using today's technology. We'll visit various asymmetric encryption ciphers in the next room, but for now the important thing to note is that asymmetric encryption provides you with a public key that you share with everyone and a private key that you keep guarded and secret. Enough with the new terms, let's have a summary. Alice and Bob are fictional characters commonly used in cryptography examples. You are going to find them in most cryptography examples to represent two parties trying to communicate securely. Symmetric encryption is a method in which the same key is used for both encryption and decryption. Consequently, this key must remain secure and never be disclosed to anyone except the intended party. Asymmetric encryption is a method that uses two different keys, a public key for encryption and a private key for decryption. Thank you. Should you trust DES? Nay, it's outdated. My network. When was AES adopted as an encryption standard? That was in 2001. We'll move on to basic maths. The building blocks of modern cryptography lie in mathematics. To demonstrate some basic algorithms, we will cover two mathematical operations that are used in various algorithms: the XOR operation and the modulo operation. The XOR operation is the short for exclusive OR, which is a logical operation in binary arithmetic that plays a crucial role in various computing and cryptographic applications. In binary, XOR compares two bits and returns 1 if the bits are different and 0 if they are the same, as shown in the truth table below. This operation is often represented by the symbols, that's a plus in a circle or the raised to power sign. Now we have 0, this is A and this is B, and this is A XOR B, right? So this is, don't forget that it means exclusive OR. So if the bits are different, will be returning 1. If they are the same, we'll be returning 0. So A is having 0 here, B is having 0 here. They are the same, so our output will be what? 0. A is having 0 here, B is having 1 here. They are different, so our output is going to be 1. A is having 1, B is having 0. They are different, so our output is going to be 1. A is having 1, B is having 1. The outputs are the same, they are the same, so the output is going to be 0. If this is the first time you work with a truth table, it is a table that shows all possible outcomes. The XOR truth table above states all 4 cases: 0, 1, 1, 0. Now let's consider an example where we want to apply XOR to the binary numbers 10, 10 and 1100. In this case, we perform the operation bit by bit. We pick it one after the other. 1 and 1, our output will be 0. 0 and 1, our output will be 1. 1 and 0, our output will be 1. 0 and 0, our output will be 0. So we are going to have 0, 1, 1, 0. I hope you understand. You pick the first digits or the first number, you pick the first digit of the second number, and you apply the modulo operator. You may be wondering how XOR can play any role in cryptography. XOR has several interesting properties that makes it very useful in cryptography and error detection. One key property is that applying XOR to a value with itself results in 0, and applying XOR to any value with 0 leaves it unchanged. This means A with the modulo XOR A will give you what? 0. A with the modulo 0 will give you what? A, for any binary value A. So what this means is that if the binary value for A is 1 and you apply 0 to it, we are going to have our original binary, which is 1, because they are different. Good. So now, additionally, XOR is commutative. That is, A and B we give you is equals to B plus A, and it is associative. That is, A and B in the brackets plus C is equal to A XOR bracket open, B XOR C bracket closed. So we have two factors here, the commutative and the associative. So ABC is ABC, no matter how you like turn it. Now let's see how we can make use of the above in cryptography. We will demonstrate how XOR can be used as a basic symmetric encryption algorithm. Consider the binary values P and K, where P is the plain text and K is the secret key. The cipher text is key, which is equals to P XOR K. Now, if we know C and K, we can recover P. We start with C modulo K, which is equals to P modulo K, but we know that P modulo K is equals to P. Don't forget that we have brackets here. I hope I'm not rushing this and you are getting what I'm trying to explain. Now, it is commutative and associative. And we know that C equals to P modulo K, right? So we say C modulo K equals to P, open bracket, P modulo K into K. We also know that it means P open bracket, K modulo K, right? Good. Because it is what? Associative. Furthermore, we know that K modulo K equals to 0. Am I supposed to be saying K modulo K? Oh, okay, the XOR operation now. So we know that is equal to 0 because they are the same, right? Consequently, P XOR K in bracket XOR K will give us P XOR open bracket KK, which is equal to P XOR 0, which will give us what? P. In other words, XOR served as a simple symmetric encryption algorithm. In practice, it is more complicated as we need a secret key as long as the plain text. That way we'll be able to have our outputs. Modulo operation. Another mathematical operation we often encounter in cryptography is the modulo operator, commonly written as percent or as mod. The modulo operator x modulo y is the remainder when x is divided by y. What this means is that if I divide 6 by 4, what will remain is going to be 2. So 6 modulo 4 will give us what? 2. In our daily life calculations, we focus more on the result of the division than on the remainder. The remainder plays a significant role in cryptography. You need to work with large numbers when solving some cryptography exercises. If your calculator fails, we suggest using a programming language such as Python. Python has a built-in int type, int that is integer, that can handle integers of arbitrary size and would automatically switch to larger types as needed. Many other programming languages have dedicated libraries. They have dedicated libraries for big integers. And if you prefer to do your maths online, you can consider Wolfram Alpha. Open that in a new tab. So let's consider a few examples. 25 modulo 5 will give you 0 because it's a perfect division and we have 0 remainder. 23 modulo 6, if you do 26 times 3 will give you 18 and 18 plus 5 will give you 20. So our remainder will be 5. So that's our answer. Good. 23 divided by 7 will give you 2 because 23 divided by 7 is 3 with a remainder of 2. An important thing to remember about modulo is that it is not reversible. If we are given the equation x modulo 5 equals to 4, infinite values of x will satisfy this equation. What this means is that if I decide to do 5 times 4, 20, 20 plus 4 is 24. So x could actually be 24. If I decide to do 5 times 10, 50, 50 plus 4 is 54. So now s could be 50. Could be 54 rather. So 54 modulo 5 will give us 4 because there is a remainder of 4. So we have an infinite values of x that will satisfy this equation. The modulo operation always returns a non-negative result less than the divisor. This means that for any integer a and positive integer n, the result of a percent n will always be in the range of 0 to n minus 1. I hope this makes sense. What this means is that, let's take this 23 divided by 6 for example. Whatever answer we are going to get, 23 modulo 6, whatever we are going to get as the remainder is going to be less than 6 no matter what. And it is going to be in the range of 0 to n minus 1, that is 0 to 6 minus 1, which is 5. So let's say 24 modulo 6, that's perfect. That's what? 0, right? Good. Now, if that's a remainder 0, good. If we now have 25 modulo 6, that would be what? 1. 26 modulo 6, that would be what? 2. 27 modulo 6, that will be 3. 28 modulo 6, that will be 4. 29 modulo 6, that will be 5. So you cannot have the value of your n as a result. So for any integer a and positive integer n, the result of the a modulo n will always be in the range of 0 to n minus 1. I hope that makes sense. Now, what is 1001 XOR 1010? So 1 and 1 is the same. So our answer is 0 there. 0 and 0, they are the same, 0. 0 and 1, they are different, 1. 1 and 0 are different, 1. Submit. Yeah, we're correct. Now, what is 11861384% 1991? Okay, we have our wolfram alpha. You can actually do this with a simple calculator, but let's see what we have here. Enter what calculates. Enter. We have 3565. 3565. Okay, let's type that here. You see, it's just very good to understand the principle behind all this. So this should be 5 times 12. Is that not 60? So let's do this again. So that will be 0. The answer should be 0, right? 0. So we are good to go. I hope you've been able to understand what we are teaching. So in this room, we learned about the importance of cryptography and some of the problems that it solves. We also introduced symmetric and asymmetric encryption ciphers. Finally, we explained XOR and the modulo operations. In the next room, we'll visit various asymmetric crypto systems. I'm not sure I'll be able to take the room anytime soon, but I believe you've had sufficient information with this free room. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay, we still have our sister cipher. Okay, let's check the possible answers. Okay, I can encrypt. This looks like the most I can encrypt. The only making sense answer that we have here. So we're going to come here and we paste. Yeah, we're good. Thank you very much. Bye.